Okay, let's unpack this. We've got quite a stack of sources here today.
Yeah, really good set. And they're all focused on idioms.
Right, idioms, those phrases that, don't literally mean what the words say. It's fascinating stuff.
Absolutely. And we're not just like defining them. We want to get into the real meaning, how they're used, basically how they help you sound more, well, natural in English.
Exactly. That's the mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To pull out the key ones from these sources, understand them properly, and show you how using even just a few can, like, instantly boost your fluency.
Because, well, trying to picture raining cats and dogs, literally,
Yeah.
it's memorable, but totally misses the point.
Right. It's like unlocking another level of the language.
Cats' color, personality,
Mm,
makes things more expressive.
totally. And the sources give us a great list to work with. So should we just jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay. First one, perfect for that slightly awkward feeling in a new group. Break the ice.
Ah, yes, a real classic. Means, saying or doing something to make people feel a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, especially when you first meet or if things are a bit tense.
You need something to cut through that initial silence, right? Get people talking.
It's that first little step. The material has a good example.
Right. It says, I didn't know anyone at the networking event, so I told a funny story to break the ice.
See? Doesn't have to be huge, just something to get the ball rolling.
Exactly. It eases that initial awkwardness.
Okay, so that's about starting things off. What about when someone just says something that's perfectly exactly right? That brings us to hit the nail on the head.
Oh, yeah, I like this one. It means you've identified something with perfect accuracy. You're spot on.
Like, not just close, but precisely right. They understood the core issue.
The example given is when Sarah said we needed better communication, she hit the nail on the head.
It's such a great visual, isn't it? Hitting the nail cleanly, no doubt about the accuracy.
It really conveys that perfectly.
Okay, now for something that often requires looking back, uh, a blessing in disguise.
Right. This is about something that seems bad, or maybe unfortunate when it happens.
Yeah, like a real setback.
But then later on, you realize it actually led to something good. It had unexpected positive results.
So perspective changes things. Hindsight, right.
Totally. The sources give the example. Losing that job was a blessing in disguise. It gave me time to start my own business.
Ah, okay. So the bad thing actually opened up a better opportunity.
Pretty much. It's that silver lining idea, captured really well.
Okay, shifting from looking back to taking action, we've got one from sports. The ball is in your court.
Simple enough. It just means it's now your turn to make a move, make a decision, or take the next step.
Like in tennis or volleyball, right? You've done your part, now it's up to the other person.
Exactly. The responsibility is on them. The example is clear. I've told him how I feel, now the ball is in his court.
Makes sense. It hands over the initiative.
Okay, here's one that sounds a bit intense. Bite the bullet.
Yeah, it sounds tough. What's the deal with that one?
It means you have to face a difficult or unpleasant situation, something you've probably been putting off, and just, well, endure it.
So, steeling yourself to do something necessary but unwanted.
Precisely. You grit your teeth and get on with it. The example is super relatable. I hate doing taxes, but I had to bite the bullet and get them done.
Ugh, yeah. Definitely captures that feeling of facing the unavoidable.
Right. And speaking of maybe unpleasant tasks or just hard work late at night, burn the midnight oil.
Ah, for the late night work sessions?
Exactly. Staying up late, usually working or studying.
And the sources mention the origin, right? From actual oil lamps.
Yeah, if your lamp was still burning at midnight, you were definitely putting in the hours.
Nice. The example is straightforward. She burned the midnight oil studying for her exams. We've all been there.
hmm Now, a really common one for just not feeling well, under the weather.
Oh, yeah. Hear this one all the time.
It just means feeling a bit sick, unwell, not quite yourself.
And importantly, it's got nothing to do with rain or sunshine, right?
Not at all. Just a mild, common way to say you're feeling ill. Like, I'm going to stay home today. I'm feeling a bit under the weather.
Useful and polite. Okay, this next one sounds a bit sneaky. Let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, it means revealing a secret, but usually by accident.
Like you didn't intend to, but oops, the secret's out now.
Exactly. The sources also mention it's similar to spilling the beans.
Right.
The example, I accidentally let the cat out of the bag about the surprise party. Whoops.
Happens easily. Okay, what about things that don't happen often, like very rarely?
For that, we have once in a blue moon.
Okay, so really infrequent.
Extremely infrequent. If someone says they do something once in a blue moon, you know it's a rare occurrence.
The example fits perfectly. I eat fast food only once in a blue moon. It emphasizes how uncommon it is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, now. This next one, kick the bucket, comes with a pretty big warning in the sources.
Okay, important to note. What's the meaning and what's the warning?
So the meaning is, it was an informal, sometimes humorous or casual way to say to die.
Like the example, that old man finally kicked the bucket.
Right. But, and this is crucial, the sources strongly warn that it can be really offensive, especially in serious contests or if you're talking about someone's death respectfully.
So it's one to know, but maybe not one to use lightly.
Exactly. Use with extreme caution. Probably best avoided unless you're absolutely sure the context is right, like very casual or maybe dark humor among close friends who share that humor. But generally, tread carefully.
Got it. That's a really important distinction. Okay, shifting to something less sensitive but still impactful. Cost an arm and a leg.
This one's straightforward. Means something is very, very expensive.
It's hyperbole, right? Like, it cost so much it felt like you paid with body parts.
Exactly. It emphasizes the extreme cost. The source example. Their vacation to Switzerland must have cost an arm and a leg. Instantly tells you it wasn't cheap.
Okay. And when you're super tired at the end of the day,
You might say you're going to hit the sack.
simple, casual way to say go to bed or go to sleep.
Yep. I'm exhausted. I'm going to hit the sack early tonight.
Yeah.
Everyone understands that.
On the opposite end, what if something's incredibly easy?
That's a piece of cake.
Meaning it requires almost no effort. Super simple.
Right. The sources point out the nice contrast between the literal image yummy cake and the figurative meaning of easiness.
Makes it memorable. Example, that math problem was a piece of cake. Always nice when that happens.
Definitely. Now, what about making a bad situation even worse?
That sounds like add fuel to the fire.
Precisely. Doing or saying something that just escalates an existing problem or conflict.
Like pouring gasoline on it, basically, making things flare up.
Exactly. The example is good advice. Don't add fuel to the fire, just let her calm down. We've all seen situations where the wrong comment just makes everything explode.
So true.
Right.
Okay, what if your plan completely fails and you need to start over?
Then it's back to the drawing board.
Meaning you have to scrap the old plan and begin again from scratch. Rethink everything.
Right. The example. Our proposal got rejected, so it's back to the drawing board. Common in business, projects, anywhere, plans can fail.
Okay. And if you're trying really, really hard to help someone,
You might bend over backwards.
making a huge effort, going above and beyond.
Yes. And the sources add a nuance. Sometimes it can imply trying too hard, maybe unnecessarily.
Ah, interesting. The example, she bent over backwards to make her guests feel at home, shows significant effort for others.
Now, an idiom about not worrying about past mistakes.
Hmm.
Cry over spilled milk.
Meaning, don't get upset about something that's already happened and you can't change.
Exactly. It's futile. The milk is spilled. You can't unspill it. The source frames it as a waste of energy.
Makes sense. The example, I lost the file, but there's no use crying over spilled milk. Focus on what's next.
Right. Practical advice. Now, for getting to the point.
Ah, cut to the chase.
Yep. Skip the small talk. Get straight to the important part.
Useful when time is short.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Example. We don't have much time. Let's cut to the chase. Very direct.
Okay, how about this one? Devil's advocate. Sounds intriguing.
It is. Playing devil's advocate means arguing against a point, even if you secretly agree with it.
Why would you do that?
To test the argument, to explore alternatives, challenge assumptions, make sure an idea is really solid. It's not about your personal belief. It's about provoking thought.
Ah, okay. So it's a tool for better discussion.
Exactly. The example shows this. Let me play devil's advocate. What if we don't expand this year? It forces the team to consider the downsides.
Clever. Now, what about that big, obvious issue that everyone's avoiding?
That's the elephant in the room.
The huge problem sitting there that nobody wants to mention.
Precisely. Everyone knows it's there, but it's uncomfortable or difficult, so it goes unaddressed.
Creates a weird tension. The example, no one mentioned the budget cuts. It was the elephant in the room. You can feel the awkwardness.
Yeah, it captures that perfectly. Okay, what about when you have to deal with the consequences of your actions?
That sounds like face the music.
It is. Means accepting the unpleasant results, taking responsibility when you've messed up.
Time to be accountable.
Right. The example, he forgot to finish the report and had to face the music with his boss. That moment of reckoning.
Okay. Next, joining something just because it's popular.
That's jump on the bandwagon.
Following the crowd, maybe without thinking too much about it.
Often, yes. Joining a trend or activity mainly because it's popular or fashionable, not necessarily out of deep personal interest.
The example makes sense. Everyone's investing in crypto, so he jumped on the bandwagon. Captures that trend-following aspect.
Exactly. Now, sometimes it's better not to stir things up.
Like let sleeping dogs lie.
Precisely. Avoid bringing up old arguments or problems that might cause new trouble if you mention them.
Just leave the past in the past, basically. Don't poke the bear, or the dog in this case.
Right. The example. We had a fight last year, but I don't want to talk about it. Let sleeping dogs lie. Sometimes it's wiser to just move on.
Makes sense. Okay, if you're in a really risky spot,
You're on thin ice.
like you're close to getting into trouble, the ice might break.
That's the visual. Yeah. A precarious situation where negative consequences are likely. The example, he's already had 2 warnings. He's on thin ice. You know he's close to the edge.
Very clear imagery. Okay, last one on our main list. The tip of the iceberg.
This means that what you're seeing is just a small, visible part of a much larger, mostly hidden problem or situation.
So it suggests there's way more going on underneath.
Exactly. What's visible is minor compared to the whole issue. The example, the accounting error is just the tip of the iceberg, implies much bigger problems are lurking.
Wow, okay, that's a lot of ground covered. But wait, the sources had a bonus round too, right?
They did. Some quick-fire essentials. Ready?
Let's do it. Rapid fire. First, beat around the bush.
Meaning, avoiding the main point. Example, stop beating around the bush and tell me what happened.
Okay. In hot water.
Meaning, in trouble. Example, he was in hot water after missing the deadline.
Pull someone's leg.
Meaning, joking or teasing. Example, are you pulling my leg or is that true?
See eye to eye.
Meaning, agreeing with someone. Example, we don't always see eye to eye, but we respect each other.
And last bonus one. Take it with a grain of salt.
Meaning, be skeptical, don't believe it completely. Example, he exaggerates. Take it with a grain of salt.
Awesome. That really rounds out the list based on the sources we had.
Yeah, it's a great collection. It really shows how idioms pack so much, meaning, culture, history, into just a few words.
Totally. It's like seasoning for your language, as one source put it. Used well, adds fantastic flavor.
Right, makes it richer, more natural, but yeah, overdo it or get them wrong, and it can be confusing.
For sure. But learning even some of these, the ones we covered, can really make a difference.
So the takeaway is maybe listen out for them in conversations, shows.
Yeah, and then maybe try using one when it feels right. Practice makes perfect, or at least more comfortable.
Definitely. And, thinking about it, learning these isn't just about sounding better.
What do you mean?
Well, it also gives you these little glimpses into the culture, the history behind the language itself. Right?
That's a great point. Like, each idiom is a tiny window. Makes you wonder what other phrases we use every day are like little time capsules hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. Something to think about.